Pete, I always appreciate you coming on with us, especially right before a game. Big game tomorrow. Vikes coming off of a bye. What is the quarterback situation that we should be expecting for tomorrow?
Carson Wentz, all the way. That's who we've been told is going to be the quarterback, and here we go. So Carson Wentz gets to face his former team for the second time. First time, I think it was in 2022 with Washington. It was sacked, I believe, 4 times. Did okay. Didn't win, but it hopefully will go better for him tomorrow with a different team other than the Eagles.
And is there the expectation that J.J. McCarthy will return next week, or is he still a couple weeks away?
That I don't know. That we don't know. And there's so many levels at this that you can look at. His newborn son, the whole thing. Whether or not they're just telling him to take his time, and get himself healthy and ready to go, and ease him into it even more, and then just see how this Carson Wentz thing works out. So it's a pretty important time of the season, and this game might just be one of the more pivotal. You come out of this thing 4-2 with a win, then the playoffs are still, I think, pretty relevant. You have a tough string of games coming up because Thursday we fly out Wednesday to go play the Chargers out in LA, come back, and then play Detroit. So the next 3 weeks are going to be really telling as to the future of this season. And that's the other part. I guess the other part of this is that with the Vikings drafting JJ 10th overall, he's eventually going to be our quarterback. And at some point you need to get him on the field. Some point you need to get him ready. Whether that's now or in a couple weeks, I don't know. But it's been a hairy topic up here, I think, for the last couple of weeks.
I was going to say, Pete, I got to keep you there. We're talking about newborn children. It seems like there's always an excuse for J.J. McCarthy either not to be on the field or for him to take his time. I think when you have confidence in a quarterback, you just try to rush him back and get there. Take us and the listeners to Minneapolis. You say it's a hairy topic up there. What are the people thinking? What are they saying?
I think it falls in 2 camps, right? Like any other quarterback controversy. A lot of folks, look at the offensive production over Carson Wentz over the last couple of weeks. Wentz is averaging, this offense with Wentz is averaging almost 358 yards a game. It was, averaging 226 under JJ. So some folks want to win now. They believe the team is built to win now, and that's what they want to do. And they want to go out and give it their best chance. The other half is saying, we got a young quarterback, we want to invest and develop, and it doesn't necessarily mean you can't win with him now. So yeah, and where the reality of it is, and what's the truth, and how ready is JJ, we don't know. That the coaches know, right? The coaches are the ones that have to make that call in management, and so it's up to them. And really, all we can do is, I guess, you're in a nice place when Kevin O'Connell has an opinion on a quarterback and how he wants that position to look and who he wants in that position. It's pretty easy to just say, okay, we trust you, because the results kind of speak for themselves in his development of the quarterbacks and guys that have come through, like Sam Darnold last year, Kirk Cousins and his performances, and the evaluation of J.J. McCarthy, the drafting of him. He had to buy in. He had to be all in on McCarthy as well. So we trust. I know I trust him with making that decision. So whenever he feels it's right and ready, and McCarthy's ready, then he'll be ready. He's not going to tell us exactly what date that is, but unfortunately, there are no easy answers to this one. There's no no right or no right or wrong, and anybody who's outside, I think, of the team and outside of the franchise, to be saying it should be one thing or another. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot more to it.
Pete, you played in the league. The Eagles are coming off 2 losses, and they just had a offense-only, players-only-ish type of meeting coming off that last loss. What do those meetings do? Like, do they actually turn the tide and turn the vibe in the locker room, or is it more just kind of to say they did it?
You know what those meetings are? Those meetings are the guys who get paid to make plays on the offense when they decide they want to get together and try to change things, right? I don't know. You hear some reports that the meeting itself took place in a parking lot. Oh, good luck with that. But you turn on the film and you watch Philadelphia, and I did a video on it this week, and their defense is much, much less physical than it was a year ago. I have an example of a play that the Giants ran. It was a counter play with a tight end and a guard pulling, and Scatabo was the running back, and he got 6 or 7 yards. The Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl ran the exact same play, except they motioned to the backfield. I mean, those same formation, same quarterback, everything was the same. And the play went for -2 because the defensive end absolutely blew up the puller. And, they're just playing at a different level. They don't have a lot of depth on the interior defensive line right now. That's their part over there. You miss a tackle when you play man-to-man, you're going to give up a touchdown. When you're playing man-to-man and the quarterback can scramble, eyes are on receivers, not on the quarterback. So he's going to run. Getting Jalen Carter back, which is what we expect, will help that out quite a bit. Now, offensively, I just don't. I can't see them doing anything else other than handing the ball off to Saquon Barkley 30 times. I mean, why would you do anything else, right? His production so far this year has been low, and I don't mean like he hasn't been productive. They just haven't been using him a ton. Part of these meetings it's all about the creativity of the offense and getting the ball to A.J. Brown. And, when you look at what the Vikings have been able to do, right, and when you're 24th in the league in the run, against the run, but second in the league against the pass, and we've been getting after the quarterback, you may want to just run the football. Teams have been successful now. They're AFC North teams. They're a little different, bigger, more linemen, tight ends, that kind of thing. But I just see this as a hand the ball off to Saquon Barkley as many times as they need to win this football game.
Let's talk about how the Vikings can win the game, because I think it's a great time to catch Philly, as we've been talking about. They're coming off a bye. They can't stop the run. They're giving up 134 on the ground. Their stuff rate is 9.8%. That's the essentially they're just not. When they load the box, they're not stuffing the run, even when they're prepared to stuff the run. Still no Aaron Jones, but Jordan Mason, the speedster, has been playing really well. Is that the way to attack this Philly defense and then be able to run play action and just let Wentz be a little more comfortable back there with the support of the run game?
Well, I think to your point, I think the big factor in all that is the health of Quinyon Mitchell.
Yeah.
Right. If Mitchell's there, then they might have a guy that can slow down Justin Jefferson, who, by the way, over the last couple of weeks has been much more productive. He's been much more productive with Justin Jefferson. He's been averaging 108 yards a game receiving with Wentz. When with McCarthy, it was much lower. So 62.5 when he was with McCarthy. So that rapport, we saw some of it in Europe. We saw some of it in London last week, mainly in that last drive. Wentz had a big 22-yard back shoulder fade to Jefferson. That was a big play in that drive. So the two of them are starting to have a little bit of a rapport. So I think if Quinyon Mitchell's down and they're Keely Ringo, and then they've got Cooper DeJean out there a little bit, and then who else is going to be Adoree Jackson between Jefferson and Addison, you have to go through the air and you have to be explosive. And that is how the Vikings, I think, can win this football game. You keep those defensive linemen on the field. Right? Again, they don't have a lot of depth. Zadarius Smith just retired. So Jalix Hunt, Patrick Johnson, Azeez Ojulari, it's like, okay, we'll take our chances with pass protection against that group and slinging around the field, which is what Kevin O'Connell wants to do anyway, right? Kevin O'Connell wants to throw the football. And that matchup. So it could be a deal where the Vikings only possess the ball for 26 minutes, but if they're able to get deep and get up and down the field, then that's, I think, the best chance.
Pete, we appreciate you joining us as always. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday and tomorrow's game, and we'll talk to you again down the road.
All right, sounds great. Take care.
That is Pete Bercich, Vikings analyst, former NFL player as well. The line in this has come down. It was Eagles -3. I'm seeing a 1.5s out there.
Yeah. It's Nick Sirianni, coming off long rest, extended 10 or more days, is 9-3 with the Eagles. They tend to bounce back after a lot of the chatter. I remember last year, if you remember, they were yelling at Jalen Hurts about throwing the ball. He then threw the ball, then came out in the press conference and said, "Is that what you guys were looking for?" So, they tend to bounce back, but they're dealing with big-time dudes that are dealing with injuries. Landon Dickerson, questionable all week long. We'll see if he goes. He's one of their aces on the offensive line. Jalen Carter, as Pete mentioned, he's been questionable all week. He'll play, but still dealing with injury. Quinyon Mitchell's dealing with a hamstring. He's a corner. That's like the worst injury you can have as a corner, right? So they're dealing with a lot of things. We'll see how they come back off extended, but the Vikings are coming off a bye. Both teams are quote-unquote rested, had time to make adjustments, but I would have to take the 2 and the Minnesota Vikings at BetMGM coming off a bye, being at home, and Carson Wentz is a better quarterback than J.J. McCarthy. Listen, I haven't seen very many quarterbacks get protected like J.J. McCarthy's been protected since he's come out of school.
I know Pete was kind of just projecting of what could this situation be with J.J. McCarthy, but he's got a newborn and we're letting him just kind of like
maybe they're going to give him a couple extra weeks because he has a new what?
No, that was wild.
What are we talking about? That was crazy.
John and I both looked at each other.
Yeah. We're talking about fans that would be mad if you missed a game because your son or daughter was being born.
Yes.
We're talking about if you would either decide going to see the kid being born or going to the game. We're talking about, hey, Carson Wentz is playing good enough that we'll let J.J. McCarthy take a paternity leave? What are we talking about?
Paternity leave in the NFL.
In NFL history. So, yeah, I don't know, man. There's a lot of massaging going on around the J.J. McCarthy experience, and not a lot of play and really good play happen. Essentially, we saw J.J. McCarthy put together one good quarter against the Bears in the first game of the year with a completely depleted defense that was on the field the entire second half and missing 3 starters and probably 3 of their top 5 on defense. Outside of that, J.J. McCarthy has been absolutely brutal in the NFL to start his career.